Welcome to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today we'll be talking about the current cosmic energies. And without further ado, I love to pass la taza to T for the transits of the week. Welcome, T, and everyone else. Joining us.
Welcome. Thank you, Shayla. It's good to be here again. Another week went by really, really quickly because that's the energies. We are in acceleration and we will continue to accelerate. So hold on to your seat and you don't slip, go crashing. So hold on and know what's going on in your cosmos so that then you can be prepared for whatever energies are coming at you, just as I am at any given time. This week, the first transit that we will be discussing is Sun in Sagittarius trining Chiron in Aries. And Chiron in Aries is retrograde. Interesting how I said Chiron in Aries, like it was almost a scary thing, but it's not really a scary thing because it's been there for quite a while now, and we have become aware of what that energy is for us. My take on this particular transit is like this is like putting a large beam of light, Sun in Sag, right? On an old malady or woundedness. It could be mental, physical, emotional, even spiritual, and that you carry within. It's a time that you can look at it and the light will help you to put it into right size perspective. Like how important is it? Is it just something that you're holding on to? Is it something that you feel you need to hold on to it because it's been something that has been, not only in your energy this lifetime, but maybe in past lifetimes? Maybe you inherited it from a parent. I'm thinking about inheritance, right? We have all sorts of different inheritances. So Chiron in Aries, as well as Sun in Sagittarius, brings you that mutable, fiery energy that is about you and you alone. You can find yourself ambivalent, vacillating back and forth about this woundedness, and know that with the light shining, you can have healing and you can allow others to help you heal. You may be in a place right now where you can help someone else heal. And that's what the so cool thing about it is when you start recognizing your Chiron in Aries or your Chiron period, right? Right now it's about you because Aries is about you yourself. Fiery, but also try not to get engulfed in the flame of victimhood. Important. Things may have changed, but you're still singing the song. A lot of us do that, I think, right? We hold on to it because that's something that we know, something that's familiar. Not every person, not every sign will do that, but Aries and Sag will give you that opportunity to let it go, to keep moving, and to let that energy that holds you back, that woundedness that holds you in place. Those two entities, Sun and Sag and Chiron and Aries, can help you to release that and go forward. Let it burn in the fire, right? Like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. And then what do? You become this beautiful, beautiful creature, and then you can help others. So that's what my take is on this particular transit, Shay.
Love the Phoenix rising. This is all fire. I mean, with this transit in particular, it shows a collective. It's almost like it becomes a teacher, a focus for us for self-healing and what that means to us. And I'm just gonna put it that for it to be open for interpretation what self-healing means for individually for us, but also collectively. What's been part of our identity that feels is being weighed down? We realize these things, like T was mentioning, the things that are kind of like heavy on us that we're carrying, and we bring that awareness to that, then we're able to release them through the purifications of fire, because fire, that's what they do. It purifies things, it breaks things apart, it removes things. We look at how to process that, we're able to then move forward, especially with healing of the body and ways of processing like past wounds and hurt. So I always have this theory that the body holds emotions. And depending on where we're feeling that physical pain or that literal pain or metaphorical pain is where our emotions are mostly living. And with this transit can help us to shine light into that area and process those emotions. For instance, if someone has pain in their lower back, they're experiencing that has to do with inability to express one's emotions. So this transit here is really teaching us able to process our body, our emotions all together. And is also helping us when we are in need of light. So lamp of light for us to heal, to let go, to shed, and to also see the optimism of life, the goodness of life, because the sun in Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So it's all the great possibilities we can have once we become more aware of the things that we've been kind of carrying with us.
Yeah, that's for some reason when you were speaking, the door opened and I could feel Walter Mercado's energy.
That's
Oh
so
my
cool.
God, he's like here. I don't know if you listeners are up for this because we are intuitive astrologers, right? We're spiritists. So I mean we're gonna channel spirit. And the energy that I'm getting from him right now is one of thanks, is one of like if you have a dream, go for that dream, not to get stuck in the old, like not to, as I was saying earlier, you know your familiar tune, you can learn new tunes, you can create tunes, you can, bang on your table and do a little percussion. What he's showing me is that him with his cloaks, right? He had all these different cloaks and that there was magic in those cloaks, but it was always him that was inside of that cloak, that had the audacity, that had the vision, that had the dynamism to put those cloaks on and to show himself in these different, very, very beautiful, flamboyant, knowledgeable. He was such a wisdom keeper, but he shared it, right? He just didn't keep that wisdom to himself. Every day he'd get out there and he would share wisdom that he became knowledgeable of, right? That he needed to share for the good of the people, the collective energy. Feeling his energy, and he's kind of like giving us all a blessing. Like follow your dreams is what I'm hearing from him. Follow your dreams because we're only on this planet for a while and then we go off into another manifestation. So use these transits for your betterment, for the higher good, for yourself, for those around you. And to think in a positive light is what he's bringing. Be optimistic. Be hopeful. Because when you are hopeful, good things happen. If you're not hopeful, like you don't see when the good things happen. So that's the energy for today. And he's like just really giving blessings to all of us. I can feel that so strongly in my being right now. So I do want to thank you for coming and for visiting us, because without you, we are not going to be here today. Wow, wow. I'm so open right now today. And I guess that's the energy that I need to bring here to this podcast. Do you want to say anything before I move on?
We have on Patreon a video on Walter Mercado where we talk about his birth chart, a little bit about his life. So head over to Patreon, become a member, sign up. All the information will be down below in the description box so you can get a watch of such a beautiful chart and what we talk about in Patreon and our additional bonus episodes as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now back to Earth. All right. Mercury in Capricorn trines Jupiter in Taurus, and they're both retro. This is long a transit. Long, I mean 5 days long from the 7th to the 12th. So here, think about Earth. Think Earth. I just said, right? Let's get back to Earth here. It's Capricornian and Taurian involvement. This energy, though, is of a higher frequency, where you have Jupiter and you have Mercury involved. And it gives you the opportunity to have higher thinking, to use higher thinking with stability in use while using your power of positive thinking. Okay, so it's positive thinking, higher there's stability here. And there's not anything that you can't do without a little prayer, without a little faith in yourself and the universes, planning, action, and knowing that this cosmic weather is giving you a slice of something that could be delicious, that could be really, really great. So speak your words out with conviction and compassion, and they'll be heard throughout the universes. I mean, stay solid, but also, yeah, it's like as above, so below, right? Stay solid, stay grounded, but at the same time, allow the higher being of yourself to join with the higher energies of the universe, and something really beautiful can be created with that. So that's my take on this transit.
The slice. I love the slice because I'm gonna go into it a little bit here. The flavor of this transit, talking about the slice, is one of earthy bread. Earthy bread, it really is. Like bread made at home, fresh, with our hands, through a process of love for making that bread and seeing the process of it growing. Bread is symbolic here of our spiritual self. We can think about the bread as being us, the bread being the body. And this could get very spiritual here because not everyone believes in that theory or in this philosophy, but the body as bread, and we can think about it that way. And we are in search of our next steps as we are developing all this great goodness within us spiritually that aligns to our life, that aligns to us, that we feel good in, and that catapults us forward in a way that we can expand internal kind of manifestation of this transit here, all going retrograde. So the journey within, the bread within, the sustenance we have within. And this is important for us as we go deeper into this 2-day transit, and really being your spiritual selves. Even if you don't feel you have a spiritual self, you always have yourself in a way that you feel what is, can you imagine what makes you feel good about yourself? That's what shows up as your spiritual self.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. You make me think, and again, this is not religious. It is, it is spiritual because it is, right? For us anyway. And how you can experience this, that's great. But I'm thinking of the word communion, right? Communion with yourself, communion with something greater than yourself.
Yeah.
With bread. So it's just great imagery, but so much more than just imagery.
Yeah. That's deep, T. I love that.
So the third transit and the last transit, we'll then talk about Neptune stations direct and new moon in Sag. Venus in Scorpio opposes Jupiter in Taurus from 12/9 to 12/11. And the image that I got for that, water and earth do mix well and has been used for centuries to create things. So I was thinking, like, when you were a little child, I kept getting this image. Did you make mud piles? And did you make, mud pies? Did you make mud pies with friends? Or did you do that by yourself? And that's an important thing here for some reason with about not being afraid to come out of your comfort zone and to, like Taurus, we can hold on. We can hold on till feeling is right. Scorpio also can stay under that water and not move until, like, yep, this is the moment, right? Until they know, which is fine. Like, follow your intuition, follow what you believe. However, sometimes you can go out there. You may not have to meet this, what you may feel would be a confrontation head on because it's an opposition, but you can maybe use your body energy and just move side angle a little bit cover your point of vulnerability if you have to, if it makes you feel more secure. However that you do this, meet whatever that thing is. It's your time. It's your time. You know, as Walter just said, we're here for just a little while. And so maybe you're a little early when you come out and you do this confrontation thing, but it's not a bad confrontation. It's just confronting a situation. How is that opportunity? This transit can be good for relationships. So that might be something that you want to do, is to confront the particular thing that's going on, and it may be helpful in the long run for your relationships. And it's also a good time for just enjoying the prettiness in the world. And that's something that is like really important because there's so much brutality in the world. There's so much brutality that is going on. So it's kind of like being a warrior. There's all types of warriors. It's not just Aries and whatever, you know, we all have that warrior within. So although I could, go down the road with that and say, yeah, there's everyone has an Aries placement and da da da. But in this is a little different. So I sound like I'm all over the place, but I think if you re-listen to it, if you didn't get the message the first time, it's going to come to you the second time. You'll see what that thing is that you need to confront. It's going to be shown to you. So that's what I have for this.
That's very deep, T, because being able to confront something that maybe hasn't been in our conscious awareness, but we know is there, is hard work. It is part of the work of evolution and growing as individuals and as collectives. With this transit, the flavor that I received was it's gonna sound very funny, the sugar daddy lollipops, the long caramel ones. When I was a kid, I used to love those, but they used to always stick on the top roof of my mouth, and it was always so challenging to like remove this lollipop, but it was delicious. I shouldn't be eating because I know it's not good for my mouth, but it was so delicious. So that there's this tug and pull with this transit especially in our relationships. There's showing tug of war that's happening. So it's almost like that removing the lollipop from the roof of my mouth so I can be able to speak is symbolic of that, like that pull and push. And remembering that this doesn't have to always be romantic relationships. It can be relationships with all kinds of people in our lives that are important to us, that are relevant to us, who we consider loved ones. And once we accept that part that T was mentioning of those things that we need to bring into awareness, it will help us to expand if we choose to. So we choose to not bring into awareness and work with it, that's okay. That's your choice. But if you choose to, it's going to expand you. And there's going to be this eye to eye. For instance, I'm just going to put an example. There's a couple, right? And they're having something situation they need to confront. And with this transit, both people see eye to eye because they're choosing to see the situation, see the issue, the challenge, or it could be a minor change that needs to be done. And that creates right there immediately a change for better. Okay, a change can occur, but it has to be done where one of you or multiple people are willing to accept it and choose to work through it. Go step by step with this, because again, we're talking about Jupiter and Taurus here. So it wants to expand us, but it also wants us to think about how we're going to do it and in what ways will it nourish us in the earthly plane. Like how would it help us day to day? And if you choose to work with this transit in that way, it will help you to grow. I feel for us, it's giving me like eclipse season energy with this particular transit, or resonates with you at this moment. But remember, the sugar daddy lollipop, once it's out of the roof of your mouth, you're good to go. You don't need to deal with that. You can continue to enjoy it. So I hope this message serves everyone well.
I love that. Oh my God, you're always bringing the food. That's perfect. And they were my favorites too. That and black cows. Did you ever read black cows? That they were like that, but
Is
they
it with the little caramel with the white inside?
no, the black cows were like sugar daddies, I believe, but the the lollipop, but it had chocolate on the outside.
Oh, I didn't try this.
Oh my God, that was like my favorite. I keep thinking I age myself every single time we come on this podcast when I go back in time here. 12/6 Neptune stations direct. Neptune is about the collective. What I received for it is the question about, like where is Neptune in your chart? And this is where you will start seeing um things that may not have been moving forward will start moving forward. For instance, I have Neptune in Scorpio in my first house. So there's something there that I should be looking at that's going to start moving forward. And that sounds like an exciting thing as I say that out loud, right? Um, Remember though that think about Neptune, right? Think about the depth in the ocean, the languid movement. You're not going fast. You're not going fast, but you're going, and you can stop to look at the beautiful fish that go by. You can stop to explore the rocks and the gravel and the sands or whatever it is that's underneath, the other sea creatures that you meet along the way. There is movement, but enjoy the process. It's very mystical, it's very magical. Um, I always think of Neptune. It's interesting because sometimes I think in the past I've said Neptune with, well, we think about Poseidon, we think about the um Olocum in the Orisha tradition, right? And Olocum is the deepest manifestation of Yamaya, who's the queen of the fishes. She's the goddess of all living things. She's the deepest aspect of the ocean. And Yamaya feeds us. Yamaya gives us life. Yamaya, she coddles us. She throws us into the waves when we need to like jump in the water and we don't want to jump in the water. That wave will just take you in. I remember going to Hawaii one time and I wanted to get into the water and she kept pushing me out of the water. Like she wouldn't let me go into the water. It was just such a weird kind of thing. But these are experiences. These are our experiences and things to learn and to understand. Um, and I say again, we're going into the spiritual here today, very, very spiritual today. The goddess Yamaya, she's another face of Mary, she's another face of Isis. She is the divine feminine. And what does that bring for you? The divine feminine. What does that mean to you? That's only personal to you. And if you don't know, that's okay. Do some reading, ask some questions, and have some clarification of what that is. But it's very mystical, it's very magical. There's such a deep sense of peace and serenity with this planet. But it's not just about yourself, it's about the collective. So that's what I have for that.
Love it. I love it so much. Thank you for bringing Jemaya to show her beautiful powers of like the waters, because that is what Neptune is. It's living within the womb of the mother. That is what Neptune's all about. Dissolving all the expectations we had and didn't have and just being. And the flavor for this direct motion is Peter Panish. So being in Peter Pan land, the mysticism of it all, the wonder, the hopes, the wishes of it all. There's an appreciation for the spiritual surge that comes in when we attune to higher perspective. So we might feel, if we choose to again, to look at higher perspective and how we define that, this transit, this movement will help us to get there. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So there's an opportunity here to love the self, love others, love the universe. There's a feeling of oneness to the universe and to other dimensions or whoever spiritual group you're in or whatever you're doing spiritually or your spiritual practices, bring this in. And I'm going to add here, dreams become more vivid, especially as applying to and coming into direct motion. It feels like as unraveling, we'll see dreams becoming more vivid, sending more clear messages to us during this dreamy time. So we might feel like our dreams are more clear, messages are more clear. Even if we don't work with dreams, it's okay. We all dream to a certain capacity, or have dream memories to some capacity. I would say this is a good time to write out your dreams, paint them, sketch them, listen to music that you feel relates to the dream you had, making an art project, okay? Because again, this is Neptune, Venus, the octave, higher octave of Venus is art. So we could get artistic with it and Venusian in the ways that Neptune unravels themselves and shows up. And then we can also look at where Neptune, because Neptune's in Pisces, what is the houses that's ruled by Pisces in our chart? And if you don't know, it's fine. You can consult with T or I, and we can do a reading for you, and we can show you where that is and how to work with it. Then you have a better perspective of what it plays out.
It's lovely. The last thing that we're going to talk about today is on the 12th. And all of these are just jiving with each other, right? There's just such a wave of like beautiful, pure energy that's moving across these transits for us this week. There's new moon in Sagittarius on the 12th. So this is a time to start thinking about that adventure you've been getting snippets of in your head. And whatever part of your body that you get snippets, maybe it was in that dream that Shayla was talking about. It's about time to go forward with the manifestation of that creation. The exact new moon is a time of darkness, and it takes time to become adjusted to the light, right? When we're in a dark room, it takes time for our eyes to say, okay, wait, I can see a glimmer of light there. I can see a glimmer of light, a crack in the window. Allow that to happen. It's not like a one-dayer from my perspective, right? You may meditate with a white candle. Do this over a period of 3 nights. See what happens. Give yourself 20 minutes, give yourself some time to just sit there with your dream, And then, even in Sagittarius, it takes time for clarity, especially with wisdom to come through and to manifest. You don't want to be like a flash in the pan. And I've mentioned that before. I was thinking I had the image of, people who jump out of airplanes, right? They do this thing with jumping out of airplanes and it looks like, oh my God, like they're just like, they've got that courage. They just like jump. No, I mean, they do. Absolutely. And I've never done it and I don't intend to do it. But I know that they take time to make sure that their equipment is in good form, in good condition. They go through the steps of the process. They're very, very careful in what they do so that their jump will be successful. So work with Sagittarius in the creation of your dream, because Jupiter, they're going to take it. So you want to know what you're putting out there in the universe. You're just not going to throw something out there that isn't for you. But anyway, so it's encouragement. It's encouragement to move forward. That's what I've got.
I love it. I love that. It's also a very healing new moon. It's in 20 degrees of Sagittarius. So it's pretty healing, but also full of action, full of all the possibilities. Again, all the possibilities that there can be for us. There's a lot of like hope here as well. Have the opportunities to really start anew from what was released during the full moon 2 weeks ago. We had this new moon. What did we release and what are we walking into? And we're walking into a place where there's healing, right, of the old release. We're finally where we need to be, maybe a lot more aligned or maybe more clear mentally or physically or in our actions. We are able now to express ourselves in a beautiful way. So I'm saying this because there's Chiron that's trining this new moon, and then we have Mercury along the way, as well as Mars. So they're all coming in with this new moon. So it's going to really push us to walk into a new expedition, leaving the other expedition. We learned something from the old one. Now we're going into a completely new one. We're getting on a new boat and we're going ahead. This is being activated by Chiron, by Mars, and by Mercury. So that's gonna push us forward, and it is a positive new moon. So stay positive, learn, and learn above all a lot about yourselves, and see how that works out in this expedition.
I love that. But I'm going to go back to we talked about it last week too, is about none of this is discrete, right? None of this is like a one-time thing. This is continuous. All right. So it's not like go out and meditate on the new moon, go out and meditate on the full moon. There's days in between. This is like these are cycles that we get to know what our cycles are, how we what our patterns are, what manifests in our lives during the changing of the cycles, right? When the moon is waxing, when the moon is waning, what shows up for us, even my dog, there's certain things that happen for her when the moon is starting to wax and we're going toward a full moon. It's like, oh, okay, full moon, we have to be careful of her stomach. Like there are certain things she's gonna just show it all out there, right? So what is that for you? But the only way to know is to really participate in your life. And part of that participation is meditating on a regular basis. We spoke about that last week, right? Like people ask us, so what's the first thing that I need to do? Like you can learn this intellectually. Anybody can learn astrology, but there's something else when you meditate and you become aware of the energies and you become aware of your patterns in yourself, and then you can see it in a higher frequencies, higher manifestations in others and in the collective. So that's my spiel for meditation.
I love it. Neptune is definitely coming, is definitely stationing direct. I mean, all spiritual. This week is going to be great. And 1212, that number, for some reason I had to add it up, equals to 6. And 6 is the number of balance. And this number also has a very special place in my heart because one of my nieces, who she crossed over 6 years ago, her birthday was on 12/12. So this is always a good indication of her presence and also of hope. Hope, the star in the sky, that's hope for us. So wanted to share that personal story.
Well, that's really beautiful. And how in your own, without getting too deep into your personal story, but it's like your own healing, you're able to say, this date is a date of hope. This star who's in the sky now, that this is hopeful, that it's a good thing, it's an optimistic thing. And that is a testament to your ability to take care of yourself and to allow the healing to come in, which is something that can be so devastating, and that which, can be for many people just very tempting to stay in the Chiron, right? To stay in the wound, to stay in the pain. So really, thank you so much for sharing that. It just, I don't know if you realize how big that is to make that admission like that and share that out there. So thank you.
Of course.
It's good. So we're at the end. Anything you want to add before?
Of course. Remember, we are on Patreon, so follow us on there, become a member. We put a lot of exclusive charts on there, so sign up, ask questions, let us know. That's a good space for that. Tomorrow we are releasing a new special bonus episode for Sagittarius season, so check that out. And on Fridays, like always, I have the Rose Clinic, which is pretty much a Healful Friday, where I offer sliding scale astrology readings, tarot readings, and healings. And it's all from the comfort of your home, all online. So I will be posting that info down below. And that is all. Anything you want to share, T?
Yeah, if you want to receive my newsletter, go on to my website and sign up. I send out a weekly newsletter with not only just happenings that are pertaining to either astrology or my author self, to Oracle, Graciela La Gitana, who gives a weekly message for us. And she's always right on. That is one spirit that I'm amazed has stuck by me for so long. And she's just so lovely and compassionate. And this month it's Sagittarius, 25% off readings. You can, see that on my newsletter. You can get the code. And also my private practice. I'm starting that private practice, and you can find me on Psychology Today if you're interested in checking that out. And that's what I have for you.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Sabor Astrology con mucho sabor. Thank you. Thank you everyone for tuning in to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.